Got a message for the farmers, tell them never stop. System's flawed and they all trying to push us out our ganja crop. See, there's a difference between us and them, and you should know craft cannabis is gone if corporations take control.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rodney podcast. Today we got Matt from Cannabis, as you may know him on Instagram. We're here to talk to you guys a little bit about this coalition that we're trying to start. Completely Matt's idea, completely Matt's project, and it is something that I want everyone to be a part of. It is the Ohio Cannabis Consumer Coalition, correct?
Yeah, that's what we have on the IG right now. Yeah. Ohio Cannabis Consumer Coalition.
Yeah. So CCC, OCC,
OCCC.
Yes. So it's a really cool project. It's something that I would really like to see everyone be a part of, because this is something that is going to be helpful to the consumer side. They have OCAN, which is more like the side of the companies, but there's really nothing out there lobbying the politicians for the side of the people. And I feel like that's something that we should all be doing. We don't need $1 million to be able to do that. However, if we did, that would make this project go a lot faster.
Oh, yeah.
We're literally just saying that before we turned the camera on. There was actually quite a bit of good conversation here before we turned it on, but you guys get to be part of it now. So let's get you involved. So Matt, I'll kind of let you introduce yourself a little bit. Talk to us about what are your plans with the coalition, what gave you the idea. And I'm sure we'll probably end up talking a little bit about House Bill 56, House Bill 160, or Senate Bill 160. I might have those.
You got it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, was it House Bill? Or
House Bill 160, SB 56.
Yeah, so I have them flip-flopped. So, and then even the intoxicating hemp ban bill, because that's...
Yeah, I don't know as much about that, but it shouldn't go through just because it's intoxicating hemp is pretty much just plain hemp in anything, really.
Yes.
It's just just a term for hemp, really.
Yes.
When it comes down to it,
I feel like that's more of a civil rights issue than people really realize. Like,
if
that passes, like, we lose rights.
Yeah.
And that's like, so we'll get into that. So first, let's talk about introduce yourself, and let's talk about the coalition a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So, Matt Hyde. I'm in Gahanna, Ohio, which is outside of Columbus, a suburb, and got in the cannabis industry roughly 4 years ago, a little bit less than 4 years ago.
Okay. So that was when it was still all med.
Yeah, still all med. And actually, before I got in there, I was actually going to Michigan to purchase because I didn't realize you could. And then when my friend suggested I use it a little bit more medicinally, then I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I went to Michigan once every 3 weeks, popped like a gram and maybe just a couple things, like not a lot, because I had this little small one hitter and it's ridiculous now that I have to go back and think about it.
Yeah, but that's the key, is always starting off small, and that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake jumping into the dispensary, and especially if dispensary employees aren't fully educated.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, like any other medication, and a doctor will tell you this too. You start off with your lowest efficacious dose and then build on that, because you will build a tolerance. And that's just medicine across the board. That's not just cannabis. Right. That's just common knowledge when you talk to a doctor.
Yeah. They don't start you off on 500 milligrams when you can start off on 5. Yeah.
That's
a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, first time patients, I used to always recommend like 2.5 to 5 max. Especially for like an edible, like.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
If done emulsified or even hash rosin, it'll hit you a little bit different as well. So
yes,
you have to kind of give them an idea of what they're getting into.
Yes,
but yeah. So I smoked back in the '90s. Did a little bit of this and that, and then I got sober. And so when I did that, I stopped smoking. So that's why I really haven't got back into cannabis since like 2017.
Yeah. So,
working at Newark, I was a union representative for the dispensary for the workers, and so I was actually in negotiations with Curaleaf, legal, and all that kind of stuff. And so
they had a union there.
We attempted to start a union. Yes, it ended up falling through.
Okay.
I wasn't there when it fell through, but it was
I'll also be honest. I feel like that's again where the consumer coalition could. I feel like we have a lot of benefit to be able to gain people, because the ground workers within this industry are very passionate, care about it, but because there's no competition among workplaces, these industries know that they can make hand over foot and not have to pay you anything.
Right. I think they learned during COVID that you can run a skeleton crew and people will still buy it and you don't have to care about your employee.
Yes, especially on the dispensary front. Especially on the dispensary front. Cultivation gets really railroaded. A lot of places around me get around 13 for cultivation starting pay, maybe like 14, 15. Where in high, like just relatively speaking, me and my girlfriend were just talking earlier, a lot of factories now start around 17.
Yeah.
Because with inflation and everything else, anything below that is really hard to survive on if you're working 40 hours. Sure. And then again, working cultivation, I didn't work in a dispensary long enough to know about holiday stuff, but like, and cultivation, you work Christmas Eve, you work like New Year's Day, you like, a lot of these places really take advantage of people rather than trying to shift the office people in and try and be a real team and a unit. They just kind of disorganize, separate, and leave cultivation out to die. And I mean, industry burnout in Ohio is rough.
Yeah. No, I see. I still get Indeed notifications, like for where stuff. I see the same names over and over again. So I'm just like, I'm surprised you wouldn't imagine they would figure that out, but it's easier said than done apparently.
One of the previous companies I used to work for, I found out after I left, their turnover rate got so bad, especially in cultivation, that OSHA got called in and told them that they have to change the way that their schedules ran because this is not acceptable. Like, people don't want to work this. Like,
12-hour shifts. If you don't have an open
lights on to lights off,
if you have an open schedule, then you pretty much aren't going to get hired.
You have kids.
You're not allowed to see that was an issue with luckily, I did actually work with some people. The people in the dispensary sometimes are really great. Like I've worked with great people.
That's exactly my point. Like the people that really work here are people that are super passionate.
Yeah, and they want to support each other as well, which is this whole coalition. Can take full advantage of that fact that cannabis people take care of each other, help each other out, move whatever But it's a larger community than people really know, and right now everybody is just doing their own little thing, or we're not together. So that was part of the idea behind Civics Cannabis, and then getting the coalition together here in Ohio, is to just get the people who are saying something. Like I don't have any kind of following or anything like that, but that's why I reached out to you like a month or two ago, and I'm trying to reach out to everybody about because within the industry, like I know several people that will show up places, stuff like that, but beyond that, I know there's way more to cannabis out there, so
that's why after we're done with this conversation, we're actually going straight up to in Cleveland. They're having a medical marijuana patients or something like that. It's a meetup for people that are active in the community.
Right.
So like those are the type of people that we need to then go back to be able to spread this message out. Because again, like we're, like you said, we're very divided, but we're all really trying to get the same thing. So if we just kind of unite a little bit more, I mean,
there's no politics associated with cannabis. So I mean, it's either you are educated about cannabis. It's not even whether you like cannabis or not. It's whether you're educated about cannabis or whether you're not. Because when you do get educated about cannabis, then you start to learn that it's just a plant that grows in the ground. It gives your body balance. You have an endocannabinoid system. It's meant for it. I mean, it's like it's been like this since mid '80s or '90s when they put it together. When they actually found out about the endocannabinoid system and how the receptors work within it.
So we discovered the CB1 and CB2 in like the early 90s, I believe.
Okay, there you go.
And that, ironically enough, do you know where that was discovered at?
Israel.
Yeah. The Holy Land. Dr. Raphael McCullum. R.I.P. Passed away, I think, about a year or two ago.
Actually, I just bought one of his books.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude,
plant
I'd love to see
medicine is in my bag.
Oh, dude.
So,
We're definitely good. Fuck yeah! So, again, so those of you who don't know, Dr. Raphael McCullen is like literally like the grandfather of cannabis medicine. I can't remember. Dr. Russo is the guy who is the father. He's the guy who took and actually wrote the endocannabinoid system paper, and I think it was like 2002.
Yeah, that's what everybody needs to know about. Really, but it's cannabis in clinical practice.
McCullen. Wow, that's awesome, dude.
So I can kind of learn more about the receptors and everything like that, so I can make more sense of it when I talk to people.
Yeah. So again, education is extremely important, and trying to find things that are like really good, like actually certified. What is the word? Educational material that's not just bunk and bro science and stuff. It's really hard to find. Yeah. But I mean, there's 4 PhDs on that book. Yeah. There's another book that I have, The Cannabis Terpene Experience by Dr. Jason Lepoy.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Oh, dude, he's great. He worked with a neurologist on the book to really make the thing digestible for people. I'm one of those people, if I'm reading a book like that, I'm literally sitting there with my phone, Googling everything, highlighting things, and then I'll stop mid-sentence and be like, hold up, what the fuck does this word mean? Go Google it.
Oh, yeah.
And then come back to it, and then, like, read the rest of the sentence, and I'm like, oh, he described it for me right there.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to really go. Like, he does a really good job of writing that book. Like, and he himself is actually a PhD that works specifically with both cannabis and botanical derived terpenes. Yeah. So like, he's out in PA.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Abstract Tech is a place that is exceptional with their research.
Fantastic.
So yeah, there's a lot of good science, and it's finally starting to get a little more mainstream, thankfully, but. Not mainstream enough. It's generally only getting to cannabis folks. So we've got to reach out to people who are not cannabis folk, who are the people who still think the stigma is that this is a gateway drug, when in reality it's an exit drug.
Yes.
So
in a lot of ways, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that I've known that have gotten themselves off heroin, cocaine, and all kinds of others, like genuinely hard to get off of drug or alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's people that don't drink alcohol anymore because they smoke or they do CBD. Proud of you, man. It's not easy. It's not.
No, I quit in 2002, and 2017 was the last time, though. So went through it twice.
So
the divorce was a little rough.
Yeah, so you're like, what, 5, 6, 7 years sober now?
Yeah, 8.
That's fucking awesome.
8 March. Yeah, March 2nd. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that's, again, there's so much within cannabis. The communities are all over the place, and this education is really where it's at.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of education out there. It's just a matter of us getting it out there. I feel like the coalition is also another opportunity for us to be able to do that, because right now where we're starting at, we've got about 50 or so people in a chat group and a Discord. We're throughout the state of Ohio, and I believe actually Derek Shirley's part of it. He's from Maine. He's very outspoken.
Yeah, getting high with cats.
Yeah, getting high with cats on Instagram. So we've got a lot of really good resources here. We just need to continue to build those resources up, which if you guys would like to be part of this coalition, reach out to either one of us on Instagram. I'll post the link for the Discord in the description down below so you can join that part too. I know not everyone has an Instagram, so that's another thing. Like, there's so many communities all over the place.
Maybe for some people.
Yes, I feel like it's a nice, easy platform. You can just kind of download the app, and then it's literally a chat room with groups of chat rooms for those who don't know.
Oh yeah, I jumped on it, and we have a little bit of information there right now. Well, each of us like to use and stuff like that, but I think we'll have some town halls up here in the future, so probably a little bit easier to get that word out there as well to people who don't have Instagram. So
yes, exactly,
and so on. So yeah, we're the coalition. So hopefully, what it is getting enough people around the state to where we have like outreach, and to where we can have people have little small meetups or learn some stuff, or take some basic knowledge information stuff to a local library and have people show up, and just something to get people to understand that this is not a Schedule 1 scourge of the earth. So.
And it shouldn't be Schedule 3 either. Just throwing that out there, because if we go Schedule 3, that again takes all of our rights away on a federal level, because then it's basically like Tylenol laced with codeine. You have to then buy it with a prescription only.
Right.
You can only get 30-day or 60-day or 90-day supply amounts. It's a whole, like, you can only buy it at Rite Aid. The only way to operate within the industry.
By dispensaries, as you know.
Yes. The only way to operate in the industry at that point would be is if you have a DEA license, and that takes years upon years and millions of dollars. So to get into that, like, it's everyone like is planning on selling their license if that happens. So when you see companies like these really big MSOs that are pushing for Schedule 3, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're planning on selling their license off to people that have DEA licenses, or hoping to be able to do that. It won't really work. They might be able to sell the like skeleton part of it, like the bones of the actual operation, to these companies. But even then, I wouldn't want to buy that stuff.
No,
I don't want to buy half the stuff that these big MSOs are producing anyway.
It's with what's going on in Texas, they're doing like a THC ban.
Yes.
And so they want to get everybody arrested, but it's funny.
They want to make it criminal again.
Truly it is the top giver there again too. So I don't know what, but what it is they make it legal, they get rich, then they come in and save the day.
Yes.
Hey, True Leaf's here. Yay, they're going to give us our weed. Yay.
Yeah, they think that they're going to be able to be the only operators within the thing when it finally does go legal.
Right,
and they're
exactly.
hoping that it's going to go med, but they don't realize that the people that are there, those regulators won't let that happen.
No, yeah.
The regulators in Ohio are giving us a lot of problem and are also trying to make it recriminalized. We, the voters, voted yes on issue 2 on a very large margin. And again, if you look at Civics Cannabis on Instagram, he goes over who voted yes on, what was it, House Bill 56?
Senate Bill 56.
Senate Bill 56, which basically criminalized usage again. If you get caught smoking in public, you get a fine. You get caught 2 or 3 times, you're going to jail for weed again, which we voted to regulate it like alcohol.
First offense, 3 days in jail, automatic.
First offense? Yeah. So that's...
Yeah, other states are doing $300, like Idaho's doing $300 automatic fine, boom, right then there.
Yeah.
They're doing it all across the country.
Which is worse than what we had before we even went med.
Yeah.
Because before Ohio went medical, we decriminalized. When we decriminalized, you were allowed to have up to 100 grams before you even really got anything serious.
Right.
You may have got a ticket at best.
Yeah. If anything was misdemeanor or anything.
At best. You don't even got to show up to court.
Yeah.
Unless you have over 100 grams. But that's still, that's over an ounce, 2 ounces, something like that. A little over 2 ounces.
Yeah. A little over 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't math. Quick math in my head is terrible. I'm a paper guy. I am a paper guy. No blunts.
You as well.
Yeah.
I like to roll.
Good for your health. Yeah. I completely lost my train of thought on that one, I'll be honest.
We were, oh shoot, no, I was talking about rolling.
Yeah, see, we got distracted by the weed. But yeah, so they're doing these bans all across the country. They're not good. Ohio decriminalized.
Yeah.
We made it to where 100 grams minor misdemeanor. Then we went med. The only reason that we passed the med program through the regulators the way that we did is because the fentanyl company dumped tons of money into propaganda campaigns against our bill for illegal. What was it, for rec? We had a rec bill on the ballot, didn't we?
Issue 2 was 23, 17 was 15 was the rec bill.
15.
2015.
Okay. And they said that it was a monopoly when it wasn't a monopoly. You could argue it was an oligarchy. You could argue that only a small number of people. But I'd rather it start off like that from a ballot initiative than what we did is we went through the regulators and did it. And when the regulators set up the rules, they made it so tight that it basically was the same thing that we were doing, but only under medical rules.
Yeah. So
it was harder to get into. You had to be on a list to be able to get your card, to be able to shop at the store. Prices were still absurd, but it was weird. The regulations didn't make any sense. I feel like we would have just been better off if we would have passed it initially.
Yeah, I learning after a couple years now, getting back into the industry and all that kind of stuff, and hear people talking about it, and people who I would trust what they say. They're like, that should have gone through. All that stuff was just smoke and mirrors. I'm like, oh well. Unfortunately, I fell for it because I voted against it. So
I think it was $3 million or $3 billion that the fentanyl company put into that.
well, it was all over the place.
It was on the TV, dude.
Yeah,
That was back when we were still watching TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't watch TV no more.
Stream.
Yeah, streaming. That's about it. Netflix, Hulu. There's a billion of them. I mean, even the cable companies are going to streaming now.
Yeah.
Spectrum streaming apps. But yeah.
Spectrum's over. Comcast.
They're all terrible. And you want to talk about monopolies, like, they're not great.
Well, I mean, that's what, with SB 56 and HB 160, they are getting rid of the social equity and inclusion stuff, like, altogether. So,
which is bad.
They don't want to help people. Actually, they are good in 160. They do have an expungement, but it's something that we already have. So it's they're like, hey, look what I'm giving you. Gee, thanks,
within this, by the way, the social equity thing, I didn't know about this until we were talking about it in the group chat in the coalition. Did you guys know, and to let us know in the chat, in the comments below if you knew this or not, that all of the money that we've gotten and raised through taxes from this bill that's supposed to go to the social equity program, they haven't spent any of it. It's all sitting there.
Yep.
The reason being is because the way that the law was written with issue 2, we expected the lawmakers to be able to set those procedures in place, but because the law didn't require them to set those procedures in place, where the money should go, how the money should be spent, and what truly is social equity within this program, they're just not doing anything with it. It's just sitting there.
Yeah, it's been sitting there. Yeah, so it's like $11 million probably by now. So so like cities, I'll go around the states. So Monroe has like 4 dispensaries. Monroe is just outside between Dayton and Cincinnati. They have 4 dispensaries in their city. So that's a lot of tax money. They're probably going to see a couple $700,000 from that for their community. And
Bloom around the corner here in Paynesville, they're every month they make $1 million.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. 30% of that revenue or profit
36
from the tax.
It's supposed to be 36.
36 from the like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's just one.
Yeah. I mean,
what are we doing here, guys?
And then you got cities that have moratoriums who don't want anything to do with cannabis.
Yeah.
And there are some cities that have 20,000 people, 40, 50,000 people in them, that don't have access to cannabis, and they have to drive away, hours. Thankfully, in HB 160, they do have something that allows them to put together for a delivery service. So
but the problem is with the delivery service, if you look at Michigan's setup, you don't want that. You want that. You want the operators to be able to deliver the products themselves, because otherwise what happens is you'll end up with, I'm an operator, I'm a cultivator, and you're a processor. So I've got this fresh frozen flower that's extremely important that it stays as cold as possible. Like I want to have dry ice in the thing with it. Like this, it's super important that it stays as fresh and cold as possible. But then we've got this middleman in between us that's a delivery service, and he doesn't give a shit. So now, the stuff gets warm. It gets to you, and now my trichome heads are melted.
Yeah.
So now my product is ruined. But can we go after the delivery guy? No, because the way the laws are written up there.
Okay, right, okay.
So so we got to be really careful about things like that.
I would figure it would just be the dispensary, because those are the people who are actually going to their local person, right? So, I don't even understand why it wouldn't be the dispensary has the drivers and.
Or are you saying like a delivery from like the dispensary to the patient's consumers?
Yeah.
Okay, that's different than what I was thinking. I was thinking because in Michigan, the way there was police that got involved in the lawmaking again, and they changed the laws again, and we were talking about this before, and I do want to talk about this in a couple minutes, but like this is why it's so important that we as consumers are very on it. When we talk to our lawmakers, it's cool and important to be able to say, hey, we have this Ohio Cannabis Coalition. I'm a member of this Cannabis Coalition. We have currently 50 plus people behind us that are throughout the state of Ohio, registered voters. This is the action that we want done. If we see you as our representative and we are your constituents, if we see you vote yes on any of these bills, we will make sure that we put our full force of power amongst all of our coalition, all of our people, and all the people that we will outreach to in your districts, and make sure that you get voted out and someone that will vote more positively on cannabis bills that are more for the people and what we voted on initially.
We can find another person just like you. If we like how your politics are, but you're not for cannabis, you think it's whatever it is, then yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people that would be more than happy to take your spot.
Yes,
and there's a lot of people that are more than happy to vote them in.
Yes, and again, right this minute we may not have a large amount of funds, but we have a lot of people. And that means a lot more, because at the end of the day, it's the votes. The money only matters when you're talking about your marketing and swaying people. Well, we have the ability to market and sway people because we're educating them. We're being honest. If you look at what's going on in the trust in the mainstream media, it's at an all-time low because we know that we've been lied to, which is why people like us, people like Ace Boogie, people like Just a Vet One on Instagram, people like Anthony Riley, Ohio Cannabis Live, like people that are out here really trying to educate people, trying to make a difference. Those are the people that people trust. I'll be honest, I've been shocked the amount of times that like I've gone and posted something out saying that this is a fire product, and people have gone out and bought it up because they know that if I'm telling them that, I'm not bullshitting them. They've bought the products that I've said before, and then they've gone out and been like, he said this was a B+, and this is fire. I want to see what his A is. Yes. And that's because we don't lie to people. Like, there's no value in it for us to lie to you. So, whereas they have a value in lying to you, because they're getting kickbacks from all of these other industries, whether it be big pharma or alcohol, like so many industries, so many that are lobbying against this, but we're gonna keep winning because we are the people.
We know what the truth is, so it's just about getting out and reaching out to whoever you can. I mean, I talked to complete strangers. They probably scared me when I first started talking about cannabis to them, but some people have said, yes, I'll look into that. So I just want to at least plant a seed in somebody's brain.
Yes.
To where they can start thinking about it. Or if they see it like media as well, like this, more we get out there and people see it, then the more then people will start to understand and maybe look into it themselves. And that's all. That's just a little spark. It starts a revolution. It's cheesy.
No, it is though. It starts off with like 1 or 2, 3 people, and then it slowly builds into something that is literally unstoppable.
I mean,
that's how America started.
I still can't believe there are people, incarcerated still for cannabis crimes. There's so much
on all levels, federal, state, local.
It just
and they're trying to make more.
They're trying to make more criminals out of us.
Wow, do you know about the Netherlands? How the Dutch runs their prisons? So I think it was the Dutch. If you look it up, like there's so few people that they have incarcerated that they've started selling jail spaces to nearby countries. Wow. The reason being is because rather than focusing on incarceration, they focused on rehabilitation and trying to really get these people to like, hey, like, I understand that you just did this crime you may not have raped or murdered someone, but like, you just fought this guy. Like, what's going on with your mental that you're getting violent? Like, let's figure out what the root cause is. Let's send you to a therapy. Let's maybe not medicate you to high hell and back, but really figure out what's going on and rehabilitate people rather than throwing them in incarceration and making them. Now they're surrounded by the murderers and rapists. And they've got that mentality of community around them.
And it just makes it worse. It just takes that. Well, it's probably only at like a 2. Maybe you raise it up even higher to like a much.
Now they're full blown like, well, I see what happens here. These guys know the game, and if you talk to them, like that's what it is. They look at it as it's a game, and
they do.
life kind of is a game, but like, it just depends on how
we're all
play
real.
it.
We're not some NPC, you
Well,
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
some people, I wonder. That simulation stuff, man. I would go like,
it throws me for a loop sometimes. It enters my mind every once in a
yeah,
while.
there's definitely something there, whether
Like,
we want to call it God, a simulation, the Tao, the way, whatever it is, the universe. I don't know, but I look at it all and I'm like, this is way too many coincidences.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a simulation.
Deja vu. Everything I've been since Matrix and Deja vu, I'm just like,
Yeah, the Matrix really like.
Just a little glitch in the simulation.
Yeah, the Matrix is one of those weird like.
That's what happened to your microphones.
Yeah,
It's a glitch in the simulation.
which, by the way, if you guys watched the last episode and you approved or you liked the better quality, I apologize about this episode. I spent like 30 minutes trying to find my mics. I may just have to buy a new pair and bite the bullet. They're gonna turn up as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you'll still be telling them some of that too.
yeah. So apologize about the audio quality on this one. Hopefully I can do a little bit of post-processing editing to improve the sound a little bit, but I appreciate you guys for watching so far. Definitely leave a like, a comment if you're listening to us on Spotify. Share us with a friend or two. It really does make a big difference. Just like with the coalition, if every one of us 50 people reaches out to like one or two more people and gets one or two more people involved, that makes that 50 people go to 150.
Exponential.
And then that 150 goes to just one person each. From there, 300. And then from there, 600. Like
and next thing you know, we're in Athens and Cincinnati, Jackson, Napoleon, all these other cities that might even have moratoriums that or people didn't know about it and they voted no, as opposed to voting yes, or some people just didn't come out to vote.
Well, actually, the largest voting block is people that don't vote.
No, because I've been looking
every
at
election.
Been looking at all the runbacks and all that kind of stuff. It's generally like 50% or below.
Did you look at the number of people that normally vote in what election did we have issue 2? And that was a state or was that
23?
A local?
That was 23. So no, that was an off year.
That was a local, right?
Yeah.
That was so normal.
Yeah, issue 2 was state along with there was the abortion. Issue 1.
So they thought they were going to slide issue 2 and abortion through in a year that people don't normally vote because they normally vote in presidential federal election years,
right?
Which your vote actually means the least in those election years. Your vote means the most in your local elections.
Absolutely.
So, like, I've actually reached out to people that were running for mayor at the time, and I helped get the guy elected in the Wycliffe area a while ago. Nice. Like before the med program ever started, and I was like, "How do you feel towards cannabis in the city? Would you be open to having more dispensaries and things like that open up?" And then his response made me want to vote for him so much because he was like, "Well, yes, within the Cleveland area or the outside of the Cleveland area, opioids are an epidemic. They're on the rise. We know statistically proven that anywhere where there's access to cannabis." Medical dispensaries, opioid use plummets. It doesn't just go down it
overdoses
plummets.
Overdoses as well.
Overdoses just, and Ohio's been at like a terrible epidemic of it for a long time. Which I will say anecdotally, I've noticed I don't hear as much about it since we've had the med program. Like it's a little bit, but like it feels like it's kind of gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
and we don't even have that much access. Like, I feel like our dispensaries are extremely limited. Like we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of people that still drive 20 plus minutes to go to a dispensary.
And there's some people don't even know that we have a program in Ohio even. It's a crazy. Like, I didn't know this place was here. Yeah, we've only been open for 4 years. Just like you've been driving by us like every single day for the past 4 years. It's nuts because you can't light up your sign. No advertising. There's no B2B.
Like when they first went rec, they had tons of fines.
I want to say it was a botanist had or cannabis. It was 200,000. It was really big.
Yeah,
somebody had.
There was someone that got a couple thousand.
On that.
There was someone that got a couple thousand for having an ice cream truck at their opening day. Yeah, and I'm like, we're supposed to regulate this like alcohol, guys. Like, you guys are trying to regulate it like it's heroin.
Yeah, look at Oktoberfest and all these beer fests and what was he was talking about how in the city there's people with just paper cups just walking around downtown.
Yeah.
Just drinking as they want. It's just, but we're trying to sell the kids though. So
that's what they claim it as. That they claim that they're trying to protect the kids, but in all reality, everything that they're doing from a regulation standpoint is only propping up the legacy or traditional or black market, as they like to call it, in so many ways, by not allowing people to. So let me put it to you guys this way: if I know and have the ability and the financials to set up a grow to grow for, let's say I have the money and the ability to grow 100 like grow, I still can't get into the industry. What do you think I would do? So what is the answer to get me to stop doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get into the industry.
Level 3 cultivation.
Now, a lot of operators will try and protest it because they're scared of competition. They're scared of looking like Oregon or Michigan or Colorado or California. But those are some of the best markets for consumers.
Yeah.
Those are some of the markets that, as a consumer, as an advocate, as literally just someone that's a taxpayer that doesn't smoke weed, those are the best markets to be in.
Yeah.
When I think regulate like alcohol, you know what I think of? A social lounge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up the street from my house is like a downtown area where there's dozens of bars.
Yeah.
It's known for being a bar area. I'd like to have one of those bars be a smoke lounge.
How many police do you think show up there?
There's like one or two that patrol the whole area for all of those bars.
Saying that alcohol is more violent of a
oh yeah
drug,
one
and
of
that kind
those
of stuff. So
there's one of those bars up there particularly that is like, I have personally been in a like all out brawl with the whole fucking bar, and the only reason I was getting involved with anyone is because my one dude was the bouncer trying to stop the fights. So I was trying to protect him because he was getting his ass kicked by like 3 people. And I'm like, holy shit, like, fuck, you get the fuck off my homie, like.
Yeah. And,
oh my God.
And then meanwhile at the smoke house,
everyone's just chilling,
just listening to good music, having good conversation, reading a book, whatever, Do
you know about Vehicle City Social?
No.
So there's a social, Vehicle City Social is in Flint, Michigan. It is a social lounge. It is one of the oldest social lounges in the U.S. They are legal. They fight with the county all the time because the county doesn't necessarily want them there, but they're doing everything legally. They have a membership program. I'm actually a member of it. As a medical marijuana user in Ohio and a card holder, I am able to go up there, use my med card, and be a member there. I have to pay a membership fee of like $20 or something like that a year, and I can go up there 365 days a year and purchase and smoke and hang out and sesh with my friends. And I wonder how many fights they've had.
Yeah.
I bet you it's in the single it's probably at most 9.
Maybe handful.
And that's being generous on the side of like assuming that people are dumb.
Yeah.
Now, you want to know how many fights happened at the bar up the street here in this last year? Probably over 9.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh yeah.
In DC, they used to have this festival long before legalization was like super popular. It was on 420, where it was like a whole square block that if you smoked on that block, you're fine. As soon as you walk across the street, the cops will hit you.
Yeah.
But because it was a protest, they were like, okay, we'll leave it be. There was only one fight ever there, and the guy was drunk.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, more and more people are choosing cannabis over alcohol. Like bars are. That's why you see the alcohol people trying to give your representatives and your senators all that money, is because they want them to vote a certain way, and it's yeah. Well, I'm not going to say anything else, you know. So
it's sad. It's
but,
one of those
it's,
things. That's why it's so important that we gather and lobby them a different way.
Yeah.
Because we as a people have a power behind us.
Yeah.
Like even ants, as a colony, they're strong. Ants can take down a very large animal.
Oh, for sure.
With a swarm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one or two, probably gonna get stepped on.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, we're gonna make sure that beast gets taken down.
Yeah.
Like, freedom isn't free.
No, you got yeah.
You gotta
right.
fight
Yeah,
for it.
it's just I saw something that says democracy is not a sport that you watch. You know, it's a participation sport. It's not a
Yes.
a
Participant.
I can't think of the word.
It's
Anyways,
like
it doesn't matter.
It's like jujitsu in a way that most people don't watch jujitsu unless they've been a practitioner of jujitsu.
Sure.
And like, if you're just watching it, you're not fully understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like, it's not something that you should really just kind of sit on the sidelines and bitch and cry and moan. If you're upset by this, you need to get involved.
Get involved, yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're very upset by everything that's going on in the state of Ohio.
Call. Most of these representatives, right, in Ohio do not have email listed. They don't have like messages listed, but they do have a phone number. And they even have a fax number, and you can fax from your phone. I realized this the other day. And so, so you can actually set up like an app or something on your phone. You can actually send faxes. So myself and somebody else in the coalition was actually talking about like just sending fax after fax after fax after fax, and just like having the paper roll up at the bottom, you know, with all this stuff, just all of us, just something different, you know, just hitting a different one, each one, you know, and then
that's
do it to everybody.
When we hit all their points of contacts, we hit their email, we hit their phone number, we hit their fax machine, and we let them know, like, this is how we want it. They ultimately will have to cave in on us.
Especially
they will have to listen to us.
The constituents of those on the judicial, the House Judicial Committee, anybody who knows Stewart,
especially the speakers,
sponsor,
like the people
the
that
vice,
are like
the
party
chair.
leadership, the chairs and stuff like that, the people that actually decide when these bills get on the floor. Because like, let's put it this way:
Matt Huffman on the House side, unfortunately,
which sucks because he's the guy who put forward the bill.
That's Stephen, his cousin.
Oh no,
Stephen put forward the bill.
So there's
his cousin.
two Huffmans.
Yeah.
That's why I was. So
both are anti-cannabis. Both are doctors. So
there's no way these guys are doctors.
Or at least
There
I'm sorry, Stephen is. I'm sorry.
It might be like the doctor that's like, hey, you need to get like your 46 booster.
Yeah.
Like, do a little bit of research.
Yeah, they have
like,
no clue. You know, they think that's the guy who thinks joints grow on trees. You know. And
yes.
So,
it's this. He said that
10
he
joints a
tried
day.
quoting his own bill, saying that we need to bring it down to 2 plants, but in his bill it said 6 plants.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know it's in his own bill.
He didn't write it. That's why.
No, he just wants it to be passed because people that are very large pharmaceutical companies are what fund his PAC. And actually, wasn't that something that was brought up in the group too? Again, you guys are gonna want to be in this group chat. You guys are want to be part of this Discord because there's a lot of really good information there. Like, I've been amazed at some of the stuff that I've personally learned from everyone. I'm like, wow, like getting us all on the same page and just like, I'll be honest, we've all got a bunch of group chats. It's hard to kind of parse through it, but like just going through it and skimming through it, like I'm finding so much stuff, and we do try and like pin comments that are like, there was a couple of them that were like really good websites and things like that. That I think it was you that actually brought up that one website where it shows like where everyone's funding's at, like the Open Secrets. OpenSecrets.org, is that what it was?
That was, that might have been me, but that might have been somebody else. But no, there's all kinds of stuff. The Moritz School of Law, the Drug Enforcement and Policy Center is a great resource if you want to look between what issue 2 was to what HB 160 is to what SB 56 is. Just tells you everything. A lot of jail. No social equity, no level 3 grows.
They actually, a lot of these bills are taking money from the social equity programs and giving them to the police. Now,
Yeah.
there was the fucked up part about this is knowing the history and knowing that there was like, so there was a specific building, like a training facility that the police department wanted, and it failed the voter vote, so they didn't get it.
Mm.
So now they're trying to find a way to make the taxes from this go to that.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't that's so fucking wild? Like, dude.
Well, I mean, SB 56, what that does, it just puts all the money into the general revenue fund. Ohio is just, they can do whatever they want with it. And the proponents of the bill praised that because they wanted to give money to municipalities whose jails and courts will be more busted up because of all the cannabis with the smoking out there, getting caught with cannabis and being arrested essentially and being thrown in jail for 3 days. So they want to spend all the money, give them the money so they can make jails.
To arrest people for
yeah. And so
take the weed money and put people in jail for the weed, so that we can give the money to the jails and the prisons, the privates. Like,
yeah, the proponents were like the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, so they want employer rights. They don't want anybody to use cannabis while working or anything like that, which is ridiculous. Cannabis is just like taking an Advil.
I mean, so it depends on the situation.
If I could, I would do a dab every 4 hours.
So I think it depends on the situation. Like, there's obviously people that like
heavy equipment, things like that. I can understand that.
And even within that, like, as a person who's worked in heavy industries, like, I work in a factory currently. I know a lot of people that consume cannabis even at work, but they're okay. But then there's also people that are, more often than not, novices that aren't aware of how it works with their bodies, aren't aware of the dosage, and they go too hard, and then they fuck shit up. So within that, like, I can see, but I think that there should be consumer protections. I think that there should be workers' rights. I think it should be the opposite of what they're trying to put or petition for. I think what it should be is like, if I have THC in my system, it shouldn't qualify me to lose my job.
Correct.
Like,
I'm gonna have THC in my system for the next 2 months.
Yes.
You know, if I stop right now and drink a shit ton of water, you know, I can probably get rid of it in about, for me, probably like a month.
It'll take me a long time. I do a lot of dabs.
So,
like really
I
fat
generally,
dabs.
RSO, I get like 5 uses out of my RSO.
Out of a whole gram syringe?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's, well, my knees are pretty horrible, so.
Yeah, I get it.
But no, yeah, I'm a high dose dude.
But that's because you built the tolerance to it.
Yeah.
You definitely don't start off like that. You start with RSO. You start off with like
a dot.
Oh yeah. Like a dot.
I'm getting like two grains of rice now as opposed to just one or something like that. You know?
Yeah,
Maybe
like
even a little bit more.
RSO it still does kick my absolute freaking ass, like hard.
That and rosin, two best things.
Rosin?
Personally, I think, yeah, for the body. Rosin and RSO just kind of give you more of a body effect than I think, personally at least, the other ones.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big rosin guy. Actually, this is my personal homegrown rosin. So that's. So, would you like it?
Yes, it is.
So So Durban Poison is my personal favorite flower. It's one of those things. I'm a rosin guy. I'm a big concentrate guy. Always have been. But Durban Poison usually doesn't work well as an extract. It works well as a BHO, but when it comes to rosin, it tends to not wash. So, it's what works best for me. For me to be able to find this as a rosin, I had to make it myself. I had to grow it. I had to have someone process it for rosin through water extraction because I don't have all the equipment that I need. I have the know-how, but I don't exactly have all the equipment. Freeze dryer is kind of expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very low yielding. So, for me to have this medicine for myself, the only way to do it is to do it myself. Now, if we start limiting the number of plants that I can have down to 6, that's going to make it really hard for me to do that. This is again where I feel like our regulators don't actually listen to us. They listen to what they feel like is going on, and what they feel like is going on is reefer madness. They aren't educated about it. As we were discussing, when Huffman was discussing the bill, one of the things he was talking about is how many joints grow on a plant. We don't measure things in joints. When you're talking to a professional grower, one of the metrics may be grams per square foot. And the only reason they do that, rather than grams per plant, or per light, or whatever the thing may be, it's always a measurement of grams or ounces, not joints. Because joints is not an accurate measurement. So, again, education is key. And if they actually listen to us and they talk to us, we might be able to get a little bit better understanding. We might be able to get better laws. But they're not hearing us out. So at this point, either they're going to hear us out or we're going to vote them out. Yeah. Which is where the coalition comes in. Again, more people being on it, the more they're going to hear us. If they hear we have 2,000 people throughout the state of Ohio that are part of this coalition, they're going to hear it a lot more than 50.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're still hearing it at 50.
I mean, we have 100,000 med patients still in Ohio, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to reach out and get 100,000.
Yes.
Quite honestly, because
there's a lot
it's
more.
Going to affect. Yeah, it's going to affect everybody.
Yes.
It just affects cannabis in Ohio. So
yes.
If you want cannabis to stay legal, and to be accessible, then yeah, you have to vote no. You have to reach out and say no to these bills.
Yes, anything.
We tried SB 56, but it went through.
So it went through the Senate.
Yeah.
It still is in the House, and is
the House has their own, which is HB 160.
Yes,
yeah,
but that's not. So that still has to get then passed by the House and then by the Senate, which I feel like the Senate probably would just pass anything because if they passed 56,
well, the House will pass if they pass. Which I hope they don't pass 160, but it hasn't even been brought forth to committee yet. So when it goes to the Judicial Committee and they bring it forth, and they'll have proponents saying, no, we love HB 160. And then it'll be our chance after that to come and say what we feel as interested parties or proponents or supporters. So,
which I'll be honest, when that comes up, that's probably going to be the one that I'm going to have to go down for.
Yeah, everybody actually. It is a
very long drive for me, and and I usually work on a lot of these days because it's throughout the week that they have it. But at this point, they need to hear what I have to say because I
mean, you can write it in, and you can send in your testimony, and you can read anybody's testimony from SB 56. So you can read mine, you can read Eric Whitehead's, you can read James Powers, all of them. But if you want to, you can go in there and actually give testimony personally. So it's
one big thing. I really don't think a lot of these lawmakers, because just looking at it from their perspective, again, they're very old school, but some of the things they care about are elderly population.
Sure.
Some of the things they care about are people that are really in need.
Yeah.
People that are
veterans.
Yeah. Some of the people that bills like this affect the most and hurt the most are our elderly population, are our veterans, are our people that are genuinely too sick to be able to just drive up to Michigan like a lot of us do. Because I know a lot of people that just can't take that 2-3 hour drive at all. They sitting in a car is too excruciatingly painful for them, and that's a lot of the population here, believe it or not. That's why the opioid epidemic is so bad, is because pain is a problem here. We are a very working labor intensive population. The Midwest is just kind of known for that. We're the Rust Belt because we're a factory.
Appalachia and
we're a hardworking people. So we're in pain. The people that are going to not be able to get access to these things with House Bill 50 or with, I'm just calling 56 and 160 at this point.
That's good to me,
So with 56, 160, and even the intoxicating hemp ban bill, all of those things just hurt access to be able for normal working class people to be able to get their medicine. Because even at the hemp dispensary or hemp store or the head shop, smoke shop, whatever they are, that THCA flower, if you look at the COAs of everything in the dispensary, they're the same thing as you get as a lot of that THCA flower. Now, you can make arguments with the vape carts and even some of the edibles. But that's, again, where reputable sources is important. If you look at back in the day, early California, all these dispensaries didn't have COAs and tests. That came up because people realized that people that are buying these products want that testing to be done to know that they're ingesting a safe product.
Yeah, you got cancer patients, ingesting or inhaling something that could be making them sicker. So so
that's why it's so important that everything's tested and things like that. It's not because the state needs to regulate it. I don't think the state should regulate it. I think that it should be like the dispensary is very out there about it. You should be able to see all the COAs, and if it doesn't have the COAs, make sure we know. Yeah, because I'm probably not going to buy that one. The only way that I would buy something that doesn't have a COA is if I know the person, they're very reputable, they have COAs on some of their products, just not all of it because it does get expensive, but you know that you can trust that person. Yeah, that's the only time.
And it's not a rule to have that in Ohio. Lots of places still do not put COAs on their products.
In the hemp stores or in the
in the dispensaries. In the dispensaries, yeah. Not everything has to have a COA, so I mean...
not attached to it for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, as a consumer, even though you are buying it in the dispensary, you still want to make sure that it's safe.
Yeah, and we all assume that it is. Yeah. But that's because we assume that our regulators know what they're talking about and what they're doing. Yeah. But then you see that they have things like X-ray remediation. Yeah. Like, I personally do not feel like that can be safe for you. They say that, we use it on food, so obviously it's safe. But I'm not inhaling my food. I mean, I'm inhaling my food because I'm a fatty, but that's different. That's completely different. That's real fucking hungry. Real fat now. Almost over. But yeah, so like, I'm not like vaporizing and inhaling my tomatoes that may have been blasted with X-ray remediation. And to be honest with you, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't be eating those tomatoes either.
Yeah, majority of your hamburger, unfortunately, is irradiated and X-rayed.
It really makes me want to go and buy at a butcher more than...
Yeah, for sure. But that's how it should go.
Like...
Get rid of these big boxes, get rid of all these huge farms, and just bring back the local farmer again. Yes. Let's have those level 3s so we can have a community that may only have 5,000 people, right? Bring in a level 3 cultivator. It's going to bring jobs, and it's going to you'll get money back from having them there, and it livens up your community because they get healthier.
So I'm actually going to pose a really unpopular opinion here. I actually am not opposed to MSOs, but I'm opposed to them ruling the market. I'm not opposed to big operators. My thing is I feel like there's a place for everyone, including food too. Well, but I feel like what's going on is the big operators are smashing and burning, using the regulators to not allow smaller operators, to not allow competition, to where they don't have to create a good product for you anymore. Exactly. They can serve you hamburger that's got cancer that's been cut off of it and then ground up and then thrown through an X-ray or UV remediation machine so that way it can pass a test that may or may not have even been done correctly because they get paid off. Same thing with cannabis. There's a lot of testing labs that's been an issue within the community is there's test shopping. Is they'll try and find a place that sells that will give them the highest THC rating because dispensaries are pushing the highest THC products when that's not necessarily the best medicine.
I read out was something that came out in Colorado a couple of years ago where they did a third-party testing and they found out that testing labs were either like a little bit off or a lot off, like 10%.
Yeah, because of that whole thing, they made it to where in Michigan they have to have it labeled on everything that they have, where it says like it can be up to a variance of up to 10% off. So
It
you're
actually
30.
says that on there.
I don't think it says 10%, but it actually says the test can vary by a certain amount, and that amount is 10%.
Yeah,
It's
that's not
5% in either
I
direction.
don't like that.
So that means your 30% bud could really just be 20%.
Or 20, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
or your high
Up to
26 could be 16.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if it helps you and it's getting the things that you need, doesn't matter what the THC percentage really is.
Not really, but you're still looking for honesty
That's-
and transparency and
Yes.
integrity.
I agree.
You know, so
But that's where I'm like, I don't understand why they're THC shopping or test shopping when like
I don't know. When I first got my job at Newark Cureleaf and I got my card, like one of the first few flowers I got was lemon tree, and it was 15%. You know, it was really cheap, like only $17 because
because the low THC stuff
yeah,
always
exactly.
gets a discount because no one ends up buying it.
Yeah.
Because the dispensary and the marketing people are always pushing the high THC,
Yeah, and it was-
so people think that higher THC is what it is, and it's
Yeah.
like
my favorite flowers I've ever had within the program.
Yeah.
So it was 50%. It's genetics. It's
terpenes, it's
yeah.
minor cannabinoids,
And each one's going to hit somebody different too. So that 15% or hit me solid. It might be like, to you.
Yeah.
People love some of this particular company's like blueberry muffin, and I'm just like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Yeah.
Everybody like wows about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's
So-
like Rivera Creek has the garlic cookies as their only good strain, but it's, I don't know. I wasn't super impressed by it, and definitely not for the price point. I think if this was the early days of the medical program, and I paid $50 for a 2.83 before taxes, so it was more than 50, and there was like a stem separate from all the rest of the buds that was in it.
You serious?
I'll be honest. Normally, I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that I paid that much for
money.
2.83 and I weighed it,
Yeah.
and it was just barely 2.83 with the stem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
No, yeah, dude.
pissed.
No, yeah.
I will
dude.
never.
Yeah.
And then you find out how Rivera Creek talks about home grow and how they petition the state, how they they're a third generation manufacturing family. That's why they petition the state the way they really hate home grow. They don't want it. Like, if you listen to Kessler's testimony on, I think it was it issue 2? There was one of these testimonies that he did on one of the bills, and like he just dogged home grow, he dogged a whole bunch of things, and then he's like, all right, now I want you to expand the program. I want you to be able to allow out of state people to buy products from our dispensaries.
Yeah, listen to what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite. Oh, thank you.
I have the best girlfriend ever. She just brought us water.
I thought you were done with your spray.
Oh no, yeah, no, I was hiding it.
Oh man. But yeah, this is
It's
this is a very interesting time.
Yeah, it's
in
a
Ohio.
call out to everybody because the shit is already hit the fan. So now we're just
It's all
trying
over the
to-
walls. It's
yeah,
everywhere.
we're
We
just
need to
trying
start cleaning up.
Because it's a shit show right now, and like all these people just need to be educated. Law enforcement. I reached out actually to Murd School Law today and asked their people if they would get together with me and see if, because I want to have questions about moratoriums. I have a question about the policing, what they don't know and how we can help them know.
Yeah.
You know, because they did a whole survey.
Yeah.
And said that pretty much they said we don't know any of the laws, how they are right now. And they pretty much said we don't know what's going on. So
good. A lot of places, a lot of police actually don't know the specifics of a lot of it. They don't have time to.
Yeah.
They don't have the training to. They don't have the time, like the amount of force and everything else. I mean, again, being a jiu-jitsu guy, I actually do work alongside a lot of these guys in my studio. Like, my name's Rodney, so I always make the joke to people. My name's Rodney, like Rodney King. Can't we all just get along?
Okay,
I'm getting beat
right
up
on.
by the cops.
Right.
As
okay,
I'm
right,
getting
okay.
beat up by the cops at the jiu-jitsu studio. Usually it makes people stick with them.
yeah.
They'll remember my name after that one. But yeah, so dealing with them all the time, I've learned like that the lack of education that they get in the program that they go through, not just from laws, but from like they get a basic understanding of it. So right now, a lot of cops are looking at it like, well, it's legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool.
Not if you're smoking, you know, walking down the street with your dog.
Yeah.
You know, you're not hurting anybody like that. But
and some of the younger guys are the ones that are like they're trying to be heroes and stuff like that, and they think, oh, I'm gonna get an OBI ticket or something like that. But that's again where we need to be able to create those consumer protections.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to in House or in the 56 and the 160 and the intoxicating hemp ban bill. There's nothing that's being better for consumers than any of it. Everything is worse for us. It is taking away our protections. Technically, like if I get pulled over with an ounce, even before we had the rec program, because of the hemp farm bill that Trump signed, Chuck Schumer co-sponsored. Technically, you could even say that was bipartisan.
Mm-hmm.
A bipartisan cannabis hemp bill. That passed the federal level. Technically, like I said, most things in the dispensary are considered hemp because of the way that it's grown on the plant. Everything that is grown, like the actual bud, produces THCA. It then deteriorates, and after heat is applied to it, it turns into THC. So anything below 0.3% THC, not THCA, THC is hemp. Which is why everything in the dispensary, if you look at the COAs, says that. They do the math for you, and they assume what the decarboxylation will be, like weight-wise, so percentage-wise, and they say, well, this 27% THCA flower is now 25% THC flower. That's how they do their math. So it's that same thing with hemp. So if I get pulled over and almost any state that doesn't have one of these THCA hemp ban bills, you can just say your product is hemp, and legally you're safe. If you just shut the fuck up, as most lawyers will tell you, and say that this is hemp,
the Pot Brothers,
you're safe. Because you're allowed to have hemp federally.
Yeah, that's why lots of the probable cause for the smell in lots of California, Minnesota, there's a couple more too, where if they smell something coming from your car, they can't assume that it's cannabis and then search your car. So they can actually, all they can do is let you go.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Like, I just don't want to be labeled as a criminal anymore.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I've dealt with this stuff since I was 16. Probably younger than I would advocate most other people to deal with it. But the reason that I found it was because I was an angry child. I now realize I have PTSD. I went through a lot of stuff as a little kid. I literally watched my dad try and kill my mom when I was 4 years old and stopped it. I stepped in between it. So, as a kid, I was angry. I was fighting everyone up until I found weed. And I'll also be honest, I couldn't concentrate. I was notoriously like the kid that would be like, oh, look, a balloon.
Oh, yeah. No,
like that was me.
Sure.
For sure. The first time I smoked weed, my buddy was like, concentrate on this lock and see if I distract you. And he's like flicking his shit at me. And I'm like, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, Steve, I can focus.
Yeah.
I've literally never been able to focus on things ever without getting distracted so easily.
Yeah.
Never. Like, that blew me the fuck away. So, prior to that, I was actually against cannabis. I was like one of these reefer madness guys. And I was like, man, like, if you, I still haven't deleted the post because I want to remind myself of it to kind of be open and accepting of people no matter how they're at in their life. Because I was at one of those points probably too, and I had to learn. So like, the post that I had was, if you smoke weed in any way, shape, and or form, if you want to consume that shit, unfriend me, don't be friends with me, don't talk to me, like, I don't want any part of it. And then I found out that my friends were smoking behind my back, and I was like, I didn't even know. So I started looking into it. I started deep diving into documentaries. I found out about Charlotte's Web and that whole story, Rick Simpson and the Rick Simpson oil story.
Sure.
And I was like, yo, like, you're telling me this could have saved my grandpa with cancer? What the fuck? What the... There's research showing that, like, in vitro, meaning, like, in an actual, like, test tube type of thing, that, like, it kills cancer cells in multiple, like, a lot of different forms of cancer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, I thought, when I first got my card, too, I thought that I had to have cancer in order to get medical marijuana. I was like, that's why I never got my card, and then I found out, like, I can get it. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, you can get it for, like, anxiety.
No, yeah, you know, it was for my knees and for migraines. So,
Yeah.
But,
chronic pain.
Yeah.
Yep. Which, we've all got chronic pain in Ohio. That's why opioids are strong in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's why fentanyl doesn't want us to have rec in Ohio. Yeah.
It's just amazing how many people are still against this. It just makes no sense.
It
just
doesn't.
really makes zero sense.
It's a financial thing. That's the only thing that it is. Because at this point, like, there's so much education that's out there. This is one of the most widely studied plant. Like, if you ever have questions, ask one of us. If we don't know the information, we'll find it for you, because we're going to be loons about it and be like, I didn't know this. I never thought about this question before. Yeah. And then I'm going to deep dive it. I will literally go on PubMed and start searching keywords until I find, like, a research article. Like, look into how the article was actually done. What studies that were, like, how the study itself was conducted. What were the results? What were the findings? What were the actual, like, I get into it too far.
No, for sure. No, my eyes go cross-eyed sometimes.
Yeah.
My dad has Parkinson's, so I did a lot of research into, like, how to help his Parkinson's, and his neurologist would always fight me about giving him anything, and he, you know, threatened not to be his doctor anymore.
Yeah. And honestly,
but
you know
kind
what
of
I've
the point
learned?
where I just pretty much gave it to him, and so
You know what I've
good
learned?
night's sleep. What's that?
I just changed doctors. There's too many of them.
That's what I told my mom. Since I don't have that control over you know, where he goes, you know, so I just go to different, you know. So finally, she talked to somebody else within the practice, right? And I'm like, oh no, you can go ahead and try it. And I'm like, all right, okay. So it's my mom. So I got him little gummies, 2.5 milligrams.
Yep.
Right before bed, and you know, about 2 hours before they go to sleep, and usually my dad sleeps through the night. He used to flail
Spasm
and all
and
that kind of
everything.
stuff. Yeah. So his
CBN actually help with the spasms and the sleep too.
Yeah. But yeah, I give him
CBN's a hard one to find sometimes, and it's annoying.
I give him the CBC gummies just in case there's any pain. So it's known to dull your pain receptors. So I think it's pretty amazing.
Right.
So yeah, everything about cannabis is amazing, and we've only scratched the surface too. Like, you know, there's that little small, minute, you know, little molecule in there of something, the compound could do amazing things. Maybe then.
So perfect example of that. Like, we discovered CBD and THC in, like, the 70s. We discovered the CB1 in, like, the 90s. CB2 a couple of years after the CB1. We discovered Dr. Russo wrote the endocannabinoid insufficiency syndrome paper in 2002. This is all super recent. Then we all know essential oils, like aromatherapy and everything like that. Turns out that's half the cannabis medicine too. Yeah. We started discovering terpenes. Yeah. Now, as you were saying, abstracts discovered. Do you guys remember you ever smelled cheese, like a certain funkin', like Gouda or smoked cheddar, things like that? So that same molecule that's in that is in a lot of those cheese-smelling strains. So it's like a folic acid or something like that. It's not quite a terpene, but it's very similar compounds. It's made essentially the same way in the plant. It's the plant's defense mechanisms. Again, get the cannabis terpene experience from Dr. Jason Lapoy. Learn all about that one. So it turns out there's also the chemical that's in dog poop that creates the dog poop smell. Abstracts found that one too. It turns out that same molecule that creates the scent for shit, when there's like dog shit OG or something like that actually does have like a dog shit smell. It's the same molecule.
No, yeah, no, it's
fucked up that we smoke that, but
it's crazy how many places you actually find it in the world, you know, and you never knew. Like I never knew caryophyllene was, you know, in my black pepper.
yeah,
When I was like, you know, I've been using black pepper all my entire life, you know, all this kind of stuff, and here it's, you know,
and that's
it's
also
actually
great
helped
for
me out.
pain.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also one of the only terpenes that we found that directly affects your CB2 receptor
Yeah.
and your TRVP receptor, which is your pain receptors.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what?
That gas that makes me cough is actually really good for me.
Yeah. It only hurts for a second in my back,
Yeah.
and then it stops. It's really nice. Doesn't completely get rid of the pain, but it just makes it to where it's like you can deal with it.
Mhm.
I know it's there, so I know not to move a certain way.
Yeah, and if you take too much, like if you know somebody who's having a bad experience, you know,
A little bit of
a
CBD.
little CBD or peppercorn or something like that, the caryophyllene will bring down that a little bit too.
Yeah,
So
because it's and again, this is where I personally I compare it to a vitamin, because essentially when you're getting too high, that's the equivalent of an overdose.
Yeah.
Like you're oversaturating your CB1 receptor,
Yeah.
and you need the CB2 receptor, or like there's actually, so your endocannabinoid system is essentially a series of receptors, enzymes, and cannabinoids. They're both endocannabinoids and phytocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids being the ones that are produced in your body, phytocannabinoids being the ones that are produced in your plant. I think it's like 2-AG is like CBD, and anandamide is THC. Essentially, like they're almost identical, like structure-wise, but one your body produces and the other one the plant produces.
Mhm.
So like it's really just a balancing act of like those balancing the receptors with the enzymes and the cannabinoids, because the enzymes will break down some of the cannabinoids, and then it's just kind of balancing those two so that way the receptors are not fully fucking saturated. It's cannabis medicine.
Yeah,
It
no,
should be a
it's-
functional medicine, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, should be used on all our veterans for their pains, and all of our family members who are old and frail, and so yeah, I mean it's been too long. It's just ever since 1936 or something like that, right? So it's been nuts, been absolutely nuts. So looking forward to all of us getting together and hopefully just taking this plant back for the people, because there's no reason for it to be where it's at. So it's
There's no reason we should be going backwards.
and-
The cat's out of the bag. We're
Yeah.
not supposed to go backwards. It's supposed to go forwards. If our Senate wants to be passing bills, they should be passing bills on workers' rights, on parents' rights, on what specifically we should be spending the social equity program money on. Not recriminalizing it, not taking that social equity money and going into the police programs, into the prisons, not making it to where if you get caught with it again, you're in jail. Like, none of those things are good things. Limiting the number of dispensaries, limiting the square foot of the current dispensaries or the current operators to be like, there are so many things within both of these bills. Honestly, the operators should be on our side too.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, per their own, press note that they sent out, the OCAN. They said that they believe that they're listening to us, and especially for the consumers of Ohio.
Oh, that's bullshit.
And I'm just like,
OCAN is
that guy can't be any more out of tune with what's going on.
Yeah.
So
just so you guys know, OCAN is the coalition or the lobbying group that the operators within the current legal market are.
Ohio
so
industry.
like Buckeye Relief, I think Clutch is part of it. Lighthouse, so many other
It's a
ones.
lot.
Like
It's a
like
lot.
it's the main, like all
You
the
can find
big
it on the
guys.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can go and look at OCAN and it shows who's in it. And that's not to hate on any of those guys individually. It's just saying like those are who they're trying to protect. They're not trying to protect the consumer, because if they were trying to protect the consumer, they'd be opening their market.
Yeah.
But they don't want that.
Yeah.
They want
That's
to
amazing.
cap that market because they see Michigan and they see And I'll be honest with you, it's a tough market, but that's competition in a marketplace. That's supposed to exist. That's supposed to be free market capitalism, not crony capitalism, because that's what we're dealing with. Like, you can call it communist, like let's not throw around crazy political, like, this is not what it's supposed to be. This is not the structure that we voted on. This is not what we wanted. I mean, to consider regulating it like alcohol, I can create a microbrew in my garage, and that's affordable. I cannot create a micro grow in my garage and it be affordable. I couldn't do that at all with the way the laws are set up. So, and just to put into perspective, like the level of money that you have to, like, it's not just a little bit. It's like, one of my friends, a close friend of mine, owns a vape shop. It's a successful vape shop. He invests his money really wisely. He has a store in like Painesville, Eastlake, Solon. He's got one over by Coventry, by where the one dispensary's at. He's doing well. He cannot afford to get in on the smallest level of licensing. So even those like
millions and millions of dollars is what you need.
Like, the people that can get in are second, third generation of like that. Like, someone like us that have done really, really, really well, taken our money, invested it smart, and then put it aside for their kid, educated their kid, taught their kid how to do it well, and then their kid's kid also got all that same stuff and is educated and did it well. Those are the guys who, like, their kid is able to operate in the marketplace. So, unless you're one of those guys, you should probably join the coalition and work with us.
Totally. Shake and bake.
Yep. Gotta get a time check. What are we at?
Oh.
I know we gotta get going here.
6:30.
Alright, so we should probably start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So, is there any other points that you really wanted to touch on before we start wrapping this
no,
up?
just get educated on HB 160. Call your senator, call your representatives right now. Contact those on the House Judiciary Committee. Just do it every day. I'm gonna start sending some faxes actually. So I'm gonna try to do that and just make your voice heard. Make sure you're seen, you're heard. And when it's time to show up, especially though, when it's time to show up, we really need to show up. Like
yes.
we had the little cannabis lobby day. It was there. I would have liked to see more people there and make a lot more noise because we were in the atrium, so it would have really reverberated around that entire place. But it just wasn't as many people as I was hoping. So, but information though was great. No 20% on the taxes. I'm sorry, the tax looks like it's gone down. It's going to stay at 10%. So that's one good thing. That it seems like it's coming out, but still doesn't help the consumer out considerably. I mean, it just means we
get fucked a little less.
Pay what we pay now. Yeah.
Still getting fucked, but get fucked.
Yeah.
Much less.
Yeah.
Like 10% less.
Yeah. They just use a little bit of lube.
Yeah. Maybe. Still no Vaseline. Oh man.
So yeah, just reach out, get in there, learn a thing or two. You may have something to offer the group. You may have connections someplace. You might know people. You might know things about what's going on in your city that we don't, and then you can let us know, and then we can, use a blowhorn with it. So.
And you may not even realize that you have a perspective that really matters. We had a guy in the group chat the other day that was saying, like, I don't really know what I can really contribute. I'm just a guy who stays at home with his kid all day. Like, I'm a single dad. I've smoked weed for years, and I just want to be. That's important too.
Yeah.
Being able to have the perspective of a single parent that is a consumer and being able to be like, yo, these are the rights that I need. Like, the courts are telling me this and this and this, and like, I need protection. Yeah. I need to know where, like,
what's going to happen to my kid if I get caught having a bowl in my car that isn't locked up in my trunk. You know,
Yeah.
if I get taken in jail, am I ever going to see my kid again? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's that kind of
Are
shit.
they going to
you know,
charge
it's
me with a
nuts.
felony for having drugs, like hard drugs around a child?
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Ugh.
thing that does happen.
Yeah.
So, again, your perspective means a lot,
Absolutely.
and we all need to hear it. So, you don't have to join the coalition, but if you would like to, it is really important. It helps us out a lot. It helps you out a lot. It's a very mutually beneficial thing. Hit us up on Instagram. I'm under @RodneyHash. He's under @CivicsCannabis. And again, I will put the Discord link below, even if you're not part of Instagram. So make sure you check that out. You don't have to join to be able to write your senator. However, if you would like to, we will help you be able to do those things. We have a lot of people within the group that do have a lot of resources, do have a lot of knowledge, have experience in those things. So if maybe you want to write or call, but you don't really know what to say or how to say it, or like you just need a little bit of help, that's what we're here for. So we will help you. We won't just leave you out to dry. We will make sure that you get all the resources that you need within our power. So,
Totally.
yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, it's just started. I wish we would have got this done after November 7th, 2023, but that's what happens when you put your trust in some people to do what you ask and then they do nothing. So
And
they're going to do nothing. That means that we're going to have to do something, and that's what we're doing. So time to fucking get out there and, sharpen some elbows.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that'll wrap up this episode. Again, like, subscribe, follow the page. If you share with a friend, that really makes a big difference. All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace. See ya.